Hey y'all.
Mm.
Hey, TikTok world. And over on every platform. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. It's been 3 good whole weeks. 3 long ones. We've been out here in these good streets. Doing what we do. And what we do is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Hey girl, hey. Our topic tonight is healthy disagreements,
Yes.
but your vows and your commitments.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We in this thing. We in this thing.
Yes.
You gonna start? You want me to start?
I'm gonna start.
Oh.
I mean, you gonna start.
So healthy disagreements.
Yes.
And what your vows? Your vows and your commitment. Right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we make vows that we can't keep ourselves.
Right.
And we make vows that we can't keep because sometimes we just get tired. But while the going is good, we got that vow in place. And we commit ourselves to things that we aren't consistent in. One of the reasons we do it, I found this out. People who always giving and they just give until they give out. Those are the people that have been so broken that they don't have anybody to give back to them. So they always give. So they don't want people to feel what they feel. So they always give. They find it to be satisfying. So they overcommit themselves into relationships. They overcommit themselves into situationships. They overcommit themselves. They overcompensate because they're trying to make something that they missed. So, they lack in areas of being loved because they only know love from a broken place. So they find themselves committing to broken situations. They find themselves committing to excuse me, my fade dry. They find themselves committing to their brokenness. They'll find themselves committing to a place of rejection. They'll even stay in broken relationships because it becomes satisfying. It becomes a place where they find function in dysfunction. So the very moment that they're no longer in discomfort, they're no longer in dysfunction, they run away from it because they only know brokenness. They only know. So they don't know how to have healthy conversations. They don't know how to have healthy disagreements. Everything has to be a rah-rah. Everything has to be confusing. Everything has to be contrary to whatever it is to be healthy. They don't know how because they overcompensate in all these different areas of their life. So when somebody comes along to try to love them or do anything with them, they can't because they find themselves committed or overly committed into broken situations. You got something to say right now?
No, I'm coming.
Okay. So, what is commitment?
What is commitment?
What is it?
What is commitment?
What you think it is?
Well, for me, commitment is that like loyalty? Like, you're saying something that you means something that you say.
Commitment. I think commitment, one word you use is loyalty. Commitment is trustworthy. Commitment is dedicated. Commitment is consistency. But that's for me. That's for me. You have definitions of so many words, right? And what I've learned in being married is you can give advice to anybody. That doesn't mean that they're going to take it because people already have their understanding of what they think relationships are, what they think they should be doing because my mama taught me this, my mama taught me that, my daddy did this, my daddy did that. So people they'll hear you out, but they won't necessarily implement it into their life because they feel like whatever they're doing is right. Okay, so if they committed to cheating, guess what? In their world, cheating is their commitment. If they feel like being in a relationship with multiple people, hey, polygamy, then they're gonna do that. So there's so many things that people believe about relationships. They believe same sex is it. They believe that sleeping with younger people than what they are. They believe that's it. So they people have their own understanding of what commitment is to them. So a lot of times you don't build a relationship when you go from relationship to relationship. It's a lot of times because there is a place where people haven't learned to commit in one thing and they are afraid of commitment. People say when I committed the last time, they cheated. The last time I committed, they did this to me. The last time this happened, they did this to me. The last time this happened, they did this to me. So a lot of people are afraid of commitment, so people don't get married. They will stay. I was writing it there and I thought about this. Why do people stay in together girlfriend, boyfriend relationships, situationships for like 10, 15 years? And I found out that people stay in there because they are afraid of commitment. They are afraid to get their heart, to give their heart away because the last person they committed to didn't do it. They didn't do it right. They didn't love me right. They didn't give this to me right. So they begin to stop giving their heart to people, right? Because that word commitment can be a heavy word. But what I was going to say about relationships, you have so many people that have, this is what your relationship should be. This is what your relationship should be like this. It should be like this. It should be like this. It should be like this. But what if you trying to mimic a relationship like your mom and daddy and you saw them, your daddy cheating on your mama or your mama cheating on your daddy or somebody was gender rolled and all? What if that don't work for you? But that's what you building relationship off of. So a lot of time, and then your mama didn't want to be married. She didn't get married till she was 50. So you saw love or you saw commitment at a later date. And now you trying to figure out, why am I still single? And you still single because the place that you saw. So what happens when you begin to create the narrative that you think is right? You have to begin to build the place that you think is working for you. If you feel like love is knocking you upside your head, then that's what you're going to deal with. But if you don't have boundaries and you don't set up what you think a relationship should be, you're going to fall for what the world has intended for your life to be. You'll set it up. So anytime somebody come along, your mind has already been set up to, this is what I can receive. This is what I'm going to receive. This is how I'm going to respond. Why? Because what if your mind has been set up or your heart has been set up for brokenness? Makita?
Sometimes it's easy to walk away too.
It is.
When you're not married, it's easy to walk away. So we live together forever, for a long time period of time. So if anybody, whoever, if they didn't get the living place together, and he may have got it or she may have got it, it's easy to end it and throw that person away, throw that person out with no ties. You ain't got to pay for nothing. You ain't got to, you know what I'm saying, this and that. It's an easy way to be out, which questions commitment, which questions
Marie,
loyalty, which questions
your dedication.
Yeah.
But again, everybody have their own definition of what they think commitment is. Everybody have their own definition of what they think a relationship is.
I still feel like it's an age thing. Like at certain age, you should be willing. You should be ready to settle down. You should be ready to be like, I'm ready to
But I think even with that, when you get a certain age, because sometimes you get a certain age, you just ain't got time for foolishness. I know somebody who been married for 30 some years and they went through a divorce because they don't have time for foolishness. Like, why we right here? Like, why you want to cut up at year 33? Like, why? It's because they have two understandings of what this relationship has been in. You have to look at this. This is what I think about when I think about divorce. Are my vows more important than this divorce? And you got to think about what's your deal breakers. Because a lot of times we get married and I believe it. This us. This is what we do. We have personal boundaries and we have relational boundaries. Now, if you overstep my personal boundary, we got some talking. If you overstep my relational boundary, we still got to have some conversations. But when you don't implement those starting in a relationship, if you don't implement them, anybody can come in and do whatever they want to do. But the only way, I don't believe that somebody can come in and interrupt my vows. My ex can come in and interrupt my vows. Why? Because I believe in my vows. So if my vows are interrupted, it's because I never respected them. If my marriage is jacked up, it's because something came in that I allowed to interrupt what we got going on. So I got to figure out what is it. It could be money. It could be my mama. It could be my daddy. It could be my cousin. It could be anything. It could be my desire. Hey, y'all, it could be my desire. My own desires can cause me to allow divorce to come up in my marriage. Because I can get to a place where I feel like, look, I need to be free. I don't want to be with you no more. For whatever reason. But I found this out. Like being married, because I wanted to be married, but I didn't want to be married because I want to live my great life. I want to live my best life. So I felt like if I was committed, it was going to cause me not to be able to do some stuff. So I felt like I wasn't going to be able to do certain things if I was married. But I said this at the couples retreat. I had to stop saying I ain't need no man because I need a man. I need a man to take my trash out. I need a man to go put gas in my car. I need a man I need a man. I need one. And his job is to be needed. He need to be needed. That's what builds him to be a man. Now, there are some moments that I do get frustrated in the needing, right? But I can't walk away in the needing. We got to try to figure out, what is this that's causing us to separate? What is this that's causing us to feel divided? What is this that's causing us that we can't go to the next place? We got to figure that out. He know when I don't want to be bothered. I know when he don't want to be bothered. He know when I want to talk. I know when he want to talk. I know if he don't feel like talking, he just don't feel like talking. But that's something that happens when you compromise with certain things, right? And when you compromise, you build this place and say, you know what? You all right. But when you get a certain age, you like, I just ain't got time for it. Today, I'm not up. I ain't up for the shenanigans today. Sir, we've been dealing with this for 50 years. Ma'am, we've been dealing with this for 20 years. Some got to change. In the place where something has to change, you have to be willing to allow that to change. Now, as you grow older, you evolve. When you evolve, it has to be a mutual agreement. So every time you elevate, you have to invite the other person to the elevation. If one person is stagnant, you have to invite that person into your elevation. If you don't, somebody gonna get left behind. If you don't, you're going to become so big that that person will begin to frustrate you. Why are they frustrating you? Is because you didn't invite them on the elevation. It is somewhere where somebody stopped growing. And the very moment that person stopped growing, you became irritated with their stagnation. But you got to realize it's a team. So when one fall, we all fall. You got to go back and figure out, why are we stagnant?
I don't think what you said was team. That's a big thing. People don't want to do teamwork. People don't want to do um, togetherness. That's a big issue. When things get tough, I want to do it by myself.
But you got to ask this too. What makes you so quick to walk away? What is the investment?
Frustration.
But are you that frustrated that it'll make you walk away?
Oh, I'm not. But some.
I'm just no. I'm just speaking. I'm just speaking
Yeah,
from a relationship standpoint.
Some people just don't know how to handle it, and when they don't know how to handle it, that question is, was you ready for a relationship?
So even if they may not. It could be. I think it could be a trigger. It's an unhealed place that has triggered their response. So that means somebody or something has triggered their response, and now their brokenness is responding. Make sense? So if I get frustrated with something you do,
What you do?
I do.
You do.
There is something in me that is being bothered. So I have to ask myself, what is this that's being bothered that's causing me irritation and frustration? Because you ain't in control of mine. My triggers they are my triggers. I went off. You didn't go off. I did. So now I got to figure out, why is this aggravating me so bad? Not just in relationship, but in your life in general. Why is this so frustrating to me? Why is it? People run from marriage, they run from relationships, they run from commitment because it's been so difficult in the commitment. And then a lot of people feel like the commitment holds me back and it holds me down from being from being the great that I can be. It holds them back. So they never ever get the opportunity to go forth. And they've seen commitment from a broken place. That's why I say, you have to find your own way, but get advice.
Right.
Because we got too much advice and ain't nobody finding their way. Right. So the divorce line is long. Now look, did mean, everybody might not agree, but did mean. I don't condone divorce. I don't do that, because that's between you and whoever. Because if I tell you to divorce them and you don't divorce them, you stay with them, what I'm gonna do? So I teach people how to deal with themselves, because a lot of times people don't deal with themselves. And a lot of times we fall in love with our brokenness and thinking that that's the end. So relationships don't grow because somebody done fell in love with their brokenness and calling it God. God did this for me, but then why you tripping all the time? You fell in love with your brokenness. You trip all the time. You ain't ever got nothing. I always got something, but you remember when you was at the bottom? Somebody dealt with you because you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And that's what people forget. Whatever irritates you, usually you do it to somebody else unconsciously. Whatever frustrates you, you usually do it to somebody else unconsciously. Whatever gets on you got to think about, you ain't always had this wisdom that you had. So when you do develop wisdom and somebody come that don't have as much wisdom, you judge them and you criticize them, so they never get to the next place in relationship, because now they feel like they're beneath you. They feel like, oh, you ain't nothing. You ain't got nothing. I made you. You ain't make them. You helped them. You ain't make them.
It's all about self-healing. You got to be able to self-heal yourself when situations like that.
I'm sure now.
When situations like that happen, and I don't know. I just feel that people just don't want. People just don't want to be committed no more. It just that's the thing. They just don't want to be committed no more. They think that they're ready.
What I said the other day, marriage ain't hard. People are.
Yeah, that's what it is.
People are. Because you got to think about this. Marriage, it's two people being one person.
Yep.
It's like a sack race. You think about it. If we don't jump at the same time, we ain't gonna make it to the finish line. So if you want to move first and you got to drag me, it's gonna be some conflict. Somebody gonna say, you ain't listen to me. Listen to me. Put this leg in. Do this leg. So it's a marriage or in a relationship that you build. One, healthy discussions, healthy disagreements build the relationship before you get married. Have a disagreement. I dated a guy one time. He said, I want to see how you are when you mad. I said, I don't want to see how I am when I'm mad. He said, but I want to see because I need to know if I can handle that kind of mad. I said, well, I don't want you to see it because I can't handle that kind of mad. So I don't want to show you this because I know me. So I work on me so that I don't have to show you this. And you ain't going to let you now I know I'm going to have to be in control of my emotions, of my triggers, because now I know you finna poke the bell. Yeah. So building a relationship is hard because it's finding things out about the other person that they ain't willing to tell. So now what you going to do with the tough stuff? Like, think about that. What you gonna do with the tough stuff? What you gonna do because you know that what's tough? He can't manage money. Does that mean that he ain't no good man because he can't manage money? If he don't know how to pay a bill, does that mean he ain't no good man? If he don't know how to cater to you, does that mean he ain't no good man? So while I'm dating him and he ain't used to paying for a meal, does that make him not be a good man? What if he's just never been loved right? Then you come along and you love him right. Then he's all of a sudden he start taking care of you the way your heart desired. But because you already crucified him for what he couldn't do, because nobody took the time to even show him, so you chop him down. So society has told us if he ain't got no car, if he ain't got this, if he ain't got this, if he ain't got that, leave him alone. He ain't no man. But what if something has really crushed him to the core? Because if we really talk about it, I just like to talk. I'm a man advocate. I love women, but I'm a man advocate. Why? Men go through so much. And a lot of times they don't tell. At least 92% of the time, a man ain't gonna tell you everything he going through. And the reason is because he's been built to carry everything. So a lot of times he'll hold stuff in so that you don't feel, or you don't make him feel inadequate, or so he doesn't feel inadequate. So he hold it in. Now, God forbid if he got some children from a previous relationship, and that ain't working out. So he on child support, and then she want to beat him up upside the head about that. And then the world beating him up. And then what if he ain't got no job? Now he got to worry about, I done lost my job, and I got this woman, she finna leave me. And God forbid if he had nothing saved. Now he got to figure out how I'm gonna get some money to help my family out. Then he got to deal with what's gonna happen with me in next month, or how I'm gonna get past this. These are all the things a man worry about. And what a woman do? A woman is going to benefit every time. When you go through a divorce, what's going to happen? They want to get a woman everything and leave a man with nothing because they believe that, he a man, he can fend for himself. But what happened when he want to go through when he want to go, he having suicidal thoughts because you don't know that last relationship could have choked the life out of him. So here we go right here. Yeah, I'm talking about it. Because I used to be one of her. I used to be the one that nag because I felt like you had to be A, B, C, D all the way to Z, and I wasn't even A. And I wanted him to love me like my daddy loved me. But I went to the altar, made a commitment and a vow that I wasn't even willing to keep. I wanted him to hold up an end of a bargain that he wasn't even willing to keep. So it ain't fair that a woman has a list of 100 things she wait for him to be, or that she wants him to be before he even shows up. And the very moment he don't meet the first 3, you ain't it. You ain't even given a chance. What if you met him and he been divorced for 2 years, but he ain't been able to bounce back? What if? He just ain't been able to bounce back. What if? Because you got to think about it. You ain't been right. You ain't been right all your life. You ain't been right. But now you get to this place where you feel like, oh, he got to be right. He got to be perfect. He got to be this. He got to look like this. He got to look like that and that. Try you get on your own nerve. Don't you realize it? Why? Because the world and statistics has said this is what your marriage has to be. If your marriage don't look like this, it ain't no marriage. Now, there are some deal breakers and boundaries that we have, that I have for myself. Come on, Angela. Like, I got some deal breakers and boundaries I've set in place for myself. And I'm just not finna sell myself out. And a lot of times we fall in love with potential, but we don't know how to love them to the next place. And then there's sometimes that a man just ain't finna do that. And sometimes that a woman ain't finna do that. I was looking on TikTok. They got this thing on TikTok called Sugar Daddy. Mm-hmm. And there's these women that's sleeping with these old men. And I was on somebody's live. I was just on her live. But what I saw, one, it's an agreement of brokenness. We both agree that we broken. We both agree. That's what it is. We both agree that we broken. And what I'm going to do is, since I can't get what I want, I'll pimp this person because this is what's going to fulfill me. So you going to sleep with these old men is fulfilling to you because somebody hurt you down the road or before you even arrive to wherever you're at. And these ain't older women, these younger women in their 20s and early 30s. I'm like, and you know what? And this is another place. They don't know who they are. Because when you're in your 20s and 30s, you still trying to figure out life as a woman. You still trying to, wait, I got one more road to cross. I got one more Porsche to come on. In your 20s and 30s, there is a life that's evolving that you're trying to come into, and you're trying to define who you are, because like, I'm trying to figure out what type of woman am I, what I like, what I'm going to do, how is my life going to be? I'm producing and I'm promoting my life into the place, into the lifestyle that I want. So in your 20s and 30s, by the time you get 33, 34, 35, by 33, it's a light bulb that come on. By 35, you like, look, hey, I'm good over here. I ain't got time for that. No, by 35. By 40, look, if he come, he come. If he don't, he don't. By 50, I love being by myself. That's how it goes, because life hits you and there is a maturity spurt that hits you. So you like, I ain't got time for these people to be cutting up. Like, I ain't got time. Bro, I love you. I pray the best for you. But baby, I'm 50 now. I ain't got time to be sitting up here going back and forth with you. I told my husband the other day, I don't feel like arguing. I don't know. I'm tired. It takes strength. It takes ability. I done fought in relationships. I ain't got no more in me. I'm out. I'm slap out. I ain't got now. I'm slap out.
For me, I'm 50. And for me, this is the time where I just want to just take the easy road and just enjoy the last of this run. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I'm going to go anywhere. I don't want to go nowhere, but I just want to enjoy. Like we was talking about what we like to do, at the retreat. We did a lot of exercise, and some of you was talking about a few minutes ago the perfect example was when we did the blindfold.
The
Trust. That was like the biggest moment for me that whole weekend, because I'm like, we killed it. Like, we really won the whole thing, because
now the people I don't hear that with them now.
No,
they may beg the difference.
No, we killed it, because it was all done and different. But what? That's another story. But I'm just saying, for me, I like being with her. Like, I just like being with her.
I'm my personal driver.
I like having. I mean, we have, and I guess is not the same. Every relationship is not the same. Like, we like having fun with each other. Now she just said, I get on her nerves. She get on my nerve, but that's I can just honestly say that's very rare.
What?
That you get on my nerve.
Oh,
that's very rare. Like,
the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, we just
the boy be working me.
Whatever. We just enjoy each other. And sometimes I like when we get in that tough moments. Now that's like crazy. I like when we get in that tough moments, because, man, when we pray together, we pray together, but when we pray together, when we on one accord, it's like perfect. But then we on one accord most of the time. We are almost on one accord most of the time. But when it's them tough moments, like, we really gotta seek God and gotta, we going in, we going on. When she said, "Oh, we doing communion," out the blue, or we were fasting. We need God to tell us. We need some answers. I mean, why would you not want a partner like that? So, it's every relationship is going to be to each his own. But
for that trust factor, if you're not gonna trust what you don't love, and you ain't gonna love what you don't trust, like Charlotte. So a lot of times we go into a relationship. A man needs respect to know he loved. A woman needs affection to know she's loved, because that's how she was built. Women were built emotional. Life has dealt women a hand to make the masculinity of a woman come out. But you were created as an emotional creature. You emote. That's a woman's nature. You have estrogen. You have estradiol and all these different hormones that causes emotion instability and cause you to be emotional. Your menstrual is the fact that you are an emotional creature. But what happens is life dealt you a hand to make you become hard. That's how it is. So you feel like, I gotta be the man. I can't. Well, the reason you got to be a man is because you won't let a man be a man. And the very moment he begins to become a man, you want to take charge. You won't let him take his role. You won't let him lead. You won't let him be great. You want him to be great like you want him to be. And that's what happened in the beginning of our relationship. I almost took you with these scissors. Don't do that. In the beginning of our relationship was, I had my life under control. So, and let me help y'all here, these good saints and church people. The good church people. We do ministry together, but he'll tell you that we're both leaders in a ministry, of the ministry. But I do most of the leading in the ministry. Does he give me insight? Yep. Does he give me guidance? Yep. He do that. But when we're in the house, the roles reverse. He the leader. I give him insight. I give him clarity. I help him to understand. Because that's what it is to be a team. We always on running his lane, him running mine. But in the beginning of the relationship, I was so anxious about being in a relationship, and anxious in a bad way. I was so anxious that I was looking for something to go wrong. So I didn't give him a chance to even lead. So the Holy Spirit had to tell me, either you gonna do it or I'm gonna do it. Which one? Because if you do it, you don't need me. And a lot of times in ministry, hear me, people that operate in ministry, they have issues with being what word I want to use? Aggressive. Leaders can be aggressive lovers. They can be very, very aggressive. And then they don't know how to receive love because they've always been abandoned. They've always been broken. They think people got they got all these demonic motion. Like, you won't let nobody love you because you only see love from a broken place, or you always trying to demonize everything. So nobody can love you because you see love from a demonic place. Oh, you might be a witch. You might be a warlock. That you never ever give yourself permission to even be loved. And let me tell you why. Why do leaders cheat? Why is there so much cheating in ministry? Let me help you here. One of the reasons why there is so much cheating in ministry is because the person, whoever you're with, they don't know how to restore you. So that means that after you minister, you're very vulnerable. It's a very open place to you spiritually, that it affects you naturally. So what happens is that the person, when you begin to pour yourself out, you're just looking for a return. So what happens is you think about what you got to go home to, and they don't know how to restore me. They don't know how to love me. They don't know how to, and they're going to be tripping, and they're going to do this. So you think about all these things that you got to go back home to, and you say, look, I just need, and this is just as honest as I can be. And you just want to get that one release. And when you get that release, you be all right and you go home. And that's why people cheat for so long in ministry, because they haven't found the one who begins to speak to their soul, to cause their soul to be rejuvenated, to come back into the place where they're supposed to be. So that's why infidelity is so thick in the church. It's simply because they don't talk about how do I feel after I prophesy? How do I feel after I just preached 2-3 conferences? If you don't have a well made up mind to say, God, restore me, God, cover my mind. If you don't have somebody to really push you into your next, you'll go out and cheat. Because you just want a fulfillment. You just want somebody to fulfill this itch that you got. And you say, I need to be free. I want to feel love. I want to feel coddled. I want to feel this. You gonna do it because that's the enemy's way to get you back. He plays with your thoughts. He plays with your mind. Satan doesn't like marriage because it's unity. Remember, he's the author of confusion. So he doesn't like anything that is getting along. So what he does, he catch you at your weakest, most vulnerable moment. And he begins to play on it. And he begins to tell you, go ahead. You see how fine your assistant is. You see how this, you see what this right here is. And he'll even cause you to masturbate. You'll go out and get the loving on yourself. Because you just want to release. And when you get done, you feel horrible after. I'm telling you something, I had to walk out. I had to walk it out. But I couldn't talk about purity in a point in my life because I was still struggling with masturbation. I was still struggling with sleeping around. But I had to come to a realization, Kelly, you finna die because you out here prophesying. You saying you God's mouthpiece, but you act like, you are untouchable. You act like the Lord ain't gonna do nothing to you. You act like it. But I had to go through those moments so now I can talk about them because I'm delivered from those moments. I don't desire to do that. But even after I tell my husband, I say, look, just touch me. You just put your hands on me. That's all. Just to, and it's so satisfying. So I'm just telling you, for those of you that say you're ready to walk in the ministry, you got to have all these doors closed, because if not, they coming for you. These doors are gonna come for you, and you're gonna give into them, and then you're gonna find yourself falling in love with a moment. And what that means, whoever you slept with in that moment that you were doing, whatever you were doing, that's what you're gonna fall in love with. And you'll make that your husband, or you'll make that your wife, because it was a moment. And you know, when you in very intense moments of your whatever life you got, you begin to love on that, and you'll begin to call that your husband or your wife. And you think about this. There are a lot of things. A lot of people saying, why can't I be found? Why can't I find a husband? Why can't I find a wife? And why? One, if you're a woman, you need to wait to be found, because a lot of times people will find your mess. Okay, he that finds a wife, he ain't looking for no woman, he looking for a wife. Okay, first things first. Secondly, remember when you told that man, whether you was in 5th grade, whether you was 17, whether you were 20, whether you were 25, 45, 95, 82, however old you is, or you was, or you are, right? Remember when you said you'll always have a place in my heart. Come on, make it make sense. So if you told your ex that you're no longer with, that you're going to always have a place in my heart, you don't have room for the person you're supposed to be with because somebody else got a place in your heart. So they done overrode whoever's supposed to be with you. So you talking about when a man find a wife, he ain't gonna find no wife. He got another man connected to your heart. So he looking for a wife, and you keep saying, well, I wonder why I can't be found. Well, the reason ain't nobody looking for you because you still got Leroy connected to your heart. You still got James and Malcolm, all them connected to your heart. So you trying to figure out why ain't nobody trying to love me? When you release all the people, then the one that's for you will find you. And then don't be so, y'all. Before we having a long list.
I tried. This is my, and this is to some of my guys that's assisting. I mean, I have, and I try to be an example to some of my single ladies like Cuffy. She just came on, and some of the other ladies Charlotte. A lot of the single ladies that have seen us in ministry personally, what I try to show to them when they see us together is I try to cater to her as much as I can. When she's done, now everyone that knows, and sometimes it depends on the what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
It depends on the
find it. Come on, word. Where you at?
It depends on the environment that she's in. She's ministering. Sometimes we're dragging her out because she has no energy. So when we get back to the hotel, or when we get back, she be so drained. She be so tired. Sometimes she want her feet rubbed. Sometimes she just want me to just, like she said, touch her. Sometimes we just have nice conversation till we fall asleep. It don't always have to be sexual. Because some people are like, man, I just preach. I try to make her feel comfortable. I pray for her when she's done so she can get back a little bit of the energy that she poured out.
But that means, I'm going to say this. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I just thought about it because I lose my thought. I believe you must know your partner. One, I believe this is my soulmate. Being in there, right? I'm going to say, you better not leave me hanging. So, Stalin, don't hit me on camera. So, I believe he my soulmate, right? So, when somebody is your soulmate, they're going to know what your soul needs. They're going to know what it is that you need in that very moment, right? So, if I got to go and sleep with somebody else to be rejuvenated, maybe this ain't the man I'm supposed to be with. I mean, that's true, though. You think about that.
That's true.
Because you should know how to restore me back to the place I need to be back in. You should have the ability to speak to my life in the very weakest moment and bring me back to the place that I'm supposed to be walking in, sure. Right? And a lot of times, this is why it's so important to have a father in the home. And if you don't have a father in the home, establish some type of spiritual father, Godfather, but have some sort of man with a solid foundation in your life. Why am I saying that? Because you think about it. In the book of Genesis, God didn't confront Eve. He confronted Adam because he gave the authority and instructions to Adam. So that means that the man holds the instructions and the authority over your life. So your father has the ability to speak the authority, and your father is supposed to set the foundation of what your life is. Now, my life wasn't set by my father. I had my grandfather, and then after my grandfather passed, I had my uncle to actually nurture me, mold me, love me into the place of a wife, right? I had that. From that place, I grew. So I started to, when I began to date, I started to look for men who loved my uncle like he loved my auntie. I started to look for that. I was like, okay, so she getting this. I'm looking for this type of provider. I'm looking for this type of covering. I'm looking because he prophesied to my aunt. He loved on her. He catered to her. He prayed over her. When she ain't have nothing, he got it. Even when he stashed money away and she didn't know it, when she spent all her money, he tell her, look, I'm going to put you on allowance. You're going to do this. I'm going to do this right here. You're going to do this because that's the foundation. So when your husband come and he doesn't have the foundation of who you are, he's supposed to have the ability to speak into your life and cause whatever it is to come in your life. He's supposed to be able to unlock it. Remember, you carry the favor as the wife. So everything that he needs is incubated in me. The Bible says this. He said that the wife brings the favor, right? So just because it says that, it doesn't come alive. The favor doesn't come alive in his life until I surrender and respect the husband that he is. So I can be a wife all day, but if I never respect him as my husband, if I never allow him to lead, if I never give him the opportunity to be a man over here, favor don't come in his life, because favor is a place of obedience. Favor is not a place of interruption in your own desires. No, favor comes, you're incubated with favor when you are already a wife. But if you're out of position, then the favor ain't finna come, because you trying to tell him, you trying to reprimand him like he's a child. No, you talk to him, not at him, because we equal. He ain't above me and I ain't above him. Every speaking engagement that I have, he there with me, praying for me, covering me, everything. And if God give him something to say, one of my people gonna be like, look, your husband got something to say. Oh, here you go. Because we doing ministry together, because whatever I don't see, he see. And if God don't tell him to say nothing, he ain't gonna say nothing. So I've learned, just because he has something to say, that don't mean that I got, wait, what you trying to do? Oh, this about me? No, we in this together. So when they see him, they see me. When they see me, they see him. So we're one. So when we walk together side by side. I ain't behind him. He ain't behind me. Come on, bro, let's go. I ain't finna let you you ain't finna do him no any kind of way. Because one, people will begin, this is what church do. When you don't look the part, this is what they do now. When you don't look the part, they will demote the anointing on your life, because you don't look like the church. So my husband has been told, because he didn't look like an apostle, or he didn't look like a pastor, they just thought he was just some random, like they thought I wouldn't be with him. So they already prejudged him before he even came in there to even sit with me. Because the church has a look, and if you don't look a certain way, you're not anointed. I didn't know anointed had holiness got a look. But what happens is the church say, oh, she a prophet, she should be with this kind of man. She a prophet, he should look like this. If he a prophet, why don't her husband have on a 3-piece suit? You got people who wear a 3-piece suit that going to hell. So what difference does it make if he got a white t-shirt on, a collar shirt, a button down, some jeans? What difference does it make? And that's why people don't come to church, is because marriages are phony, and you think that you go somewhere. Girl, come back. You talking to me. We're talking about commitment.
Yes.
So what has happened is people look at that. There is a one of my spiritual daughters came, and we counsel my spiritual daughter and her fiance. We counsel them in their premarital counseling, right? So yesterday he said something. He said, Mama, they do. And Charlotte don't stop me on these people. But she said, Mama, he said, Mama, you and Pancho, y'all have resembled and been so transparent when it comes to marriage and relationships. Because the church has shown us a place where it is secrets. And you got to live and look a certain type of way, but behind closed doors, y'all really don't like each other. And I said, I do my best to live such a transparent life. And the reason I do it is because of people like Sherry. Sherry says she don't go. Sherry got some family members that don't go because they've been scarred, right? So I refuse to be what the church looks like. I want to live my marriage, my life. I won't get along every day. But what we live behind closed doors is what we live in person. Because one, I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. Two, I'm going to let you know we had a bad day today. We had a tough moment. And our challenging moments is what got us to this place. So my vows that I made to God first, then him. So why did I wash his feet at my wedding? Was because I wanted to give him permission to lead not only me, but to lead the family, to lead the ministry, to lead his own life. So it's so many times that people live a lie. Like, social media ain't paying me. What I'm finna come on here for? And if they were, I ain't finna change who I am for nobody but the Lord. That's it. Because people use these platforms to make it look like it's all grits and gravy, and every day ain't a good day. But we use those moments to build. And what sustain our marriage is the vows that we made to God. And I want to be able to allow the people that we counsel, that we marry, that we mentor, to be able to see a transparency in a marriage, what it looks like. Now look, my hunker burning love. There you. Because people told me he wasn't what he ain't. No, he ain't your husband. But they said that by looking at his outer appearance, but they did not know the anointing that he carried. Because they looked at him and said, you should be with this person, you should be with this. But then what happens when I forfeit what God told me? Because people say you got to do a certain way. He got to look a certain way. He can be 6'2", but he a big devil. So here I am marrying my desire and not marrying purpose. This is my purpose. And what if God put me with him? God said, look, this is who I want you. This is who I created you to be with. And now that I've created you to be with him, there are some things that you're going to learn. And there are some things that's going to cause you to have a disciplined life. So what I asked him all the time, I said, look, tell me something bad about me. He was like, I don't know. I said, now I ain't perfect. Now tell me some. He said, you're not perfect, but you're perfect for me. I received it, Charlotte. He said, you perfect for me. And he told the spiritual daughter the other day, he said, 22 years I was married, but I've never been complete until now. So it's one thing in being whole. See, we had to be whole together. He had to be whole. I had to be whole. So now that we're together, we're complete. Because it's the father, it's my husband, then it's me. Then it's our children. And so we got a blended family. But there is a level of respect that we have to have so that our children be able to look at what it looks like to have a moment of true, genuine, authentic love. I let our children see us have a tough moment. Now we don't argue. We ain't finna argue. I told you I'm down the road to argue. But they see us having challenging moments. And what I do is I explain the moment that we have. And I explain to them how we're going to fix it. Is it easy? No, because it requires me to kill my flesh. It requires him to kill his flesh so that we can see the bigger picture. Because there's somebody out there that need to know, how do y'all get over y'all hard moments? We have some tough moments. And we were just talking last night too about how we suffered so dearly in the beginning of this relationship. I even told her, I was like, look, we suffered so bad. I don't even think we're supposed to be together. Like, this tough. This is a lot. I ain't never experienced this. But that was the moment that I knew. Because usually when tough stuff come, usually, hey, I'm deucing the quarter, baby. She out of him, out of 5,000. You can have this, and you can have everything with it. That's me. That's me. I went with that. Let some come on. What? Baby, get up out of here. I don't care what the Lord said. This too tough right here. Why the Lord gonna do this to me? Why the Lord gonna let me suffer like this? At the beginning of our marriage, like probably a year and a half, he lost everything. Lost his job. He lost his car. He lost everything. He lost. The average woman, she would have walked away. He even told me, look, I ain't got nothing to help you with. He said, I ain't got nothing to help you with. You can let me go. You can leave me right here. I said, now my flesh wanted to say, all right then, cool. I'm good over here. But I realized I wasn't marrying the man, I was marrying my purpose. And when I realized I was marrying my purpose, bro, I ain't care. We had to live in a cardboard box. However many we had, we were going to need to get it, baby. We were going to live in that cardboard box. Because when we got together, he had everything. He had the money. He had the car. He had everything. But when you know something is your purpose, you fight for the purpose. You got to stand still. You got to get with like-minded people that say, look, I told 3 people. I ain't going to tell. I ain't put it on blast because a lot of people didn't know I was engaged or even I was getting married. Thank you, Sharon, that even I was in a relationship until like he came out and said he proposed to me. Other than that, nobody knew. Because you cannot tell things prematurely because everybody ain't room for you. Everybody ain't got no pom-pom. Some people never want you to be with nobody. They always looking for you to fall. They always looking for you to drown. They always looking for you to die in some sort of area of your life. But I didn't marry to divorce. And I made that clear. And I told her, look, I ain't married you to divorce you. So whatever we got to do, Brad, you better come on. You better, hey, button your pants up and let go, Brad. We got work to do. We got marriages to save. We got children to heal. We got to bring families back together. So my purpose, our foundation is to restore marriages. Our foundation is to bring people into the right perspective of relationship. What does relationship mean to you? It's to give you our story and let you build your life according to how it's supposed to be. Oh, it's going to work for you, Sherry. Keep going, Sherry. I believe in you, Sherry. I got you, girl. And we told 3 people, Dre, 3 people to pray. 3. I ain't tell 33, I told 3. Pray for us. Pray for us, including 1 family member. So there were 4. Y'all, I was lying. I'm lying. It was 4 people. My aunt was my 4th person. 4th person. But in that process, I didn't tell nobody. I prayed. I pray. You got people that get tired of praying for their marriage because they don't see a relief. Hear me now. I'm ready to give up. No, you can't be. Anything that come quick gonna leave quick. So what happens to the people? Like, we need people We need people that say, look, your marriage gonna be tough, but you gotta keep going. If I had to stop, I wouldn't even see the goodness of God right here. I wouldn't. How did we get past the point of 2.5 years have passed and I'm so over it? So how did we get past that point? We was on one accord. When he was down, I was up. When I was down, he was up. And it was literally to like low moments. Y'all, somebody on TikTok asked a question. How did we get past those moments? Right? So, and one of the things that I found was communication. And you got to break pride. Pride is so strong in relationships. You got to be willing to say, we need help. We need help. And a lot of times the man ain't really gonna get help. He ain't gonna, because I told him, I was like, look, you need some counseling. He was like, no, I'm good. So me as the wife, guess what I had to do? I had to go in and pray. But before we even got married, I got people to stand with me in my marriage. Them 4 people I was just talking about. I called them 4. One of them told me, she was like, tell me what you want. Because I'm praying according to what God said about what you want. I'm not praying because you want this relationship. If God said it, I'm going to pray. But if he ain't said it, I ain't getting to waste my prayers, and I love you. So find you some people that understand marriage and that understands that you got to break past this place. Because like I told you, my normal flow was to walk away. It is too tough for me. Let's walk away. I lost $60,000 in the midst of my relationship. Like I said, look, we got this. Look, we're going to move. I got this, and we're going to grow right here. We're going to do this right here. All of this. We had everything laid out. 60,000 may not mean nothing to a lot of people. But when you go from 60,000 to 0, that's a whole lot. In 3 months, that's a whole lot. So I want, if you don't hear nothing I say, find your niche, meaning your circle. Get you a circle so that the people will pray you back into a place where you don't grow weary. I got one young lady now that I'm training. She's a wife, but I'm actually training her how to be a praying wife. So what that looks like is, yeah. You can do it. You can do it, Keisha. You can do it. I'm telling you, you can. It's about your mind. Now, my thoughts were walk away, walk away, walk away. That were my thoughts because that was my nature, and that's what I was accustomed to. But you can't tell your family, you can't tell certain friends, you can't tell, you got to keep that. I'm talking about very close knit. And don't tell everybody that, look, do what I need, do what we got going on. No, you got to keep that quiet. Because some people who I thought was rocking with me, they told me to walk away from him. But I'm living the greatest life. I'm at such peace. God is so faithful to me because I pressed through some moments that I wanted to give up, that I didn't see was coming. I'm like, I ain't never experienced this. And one of the toughest places was my mother died when I was 15. So I didn't have nobody I could pick up on the phone and say, hey, I need to talk to you. No, I couldn't do that. That was tough for me. That was tough for me. So I had to depend on the 4 people that I talked to and the Holy Spirit to lead me. I had to, and I had to get negativity out of my ear. I had to get it from around me. I had to constantly call my friends and say, look, what you think finna happen? They was like, I ain't thinking nothing. I'm finna tell you what I heard. And they would tell me about me, not him. So they was like, you need to get you right. You need to start sitting down. You need to fast. You need to get you together. You got an attitude. You judging him. You doing this. You doing this. Like they ate me up. Until I got to the place where I was no longer selfish. I became selfless. So what do? The man over here spoiled is. He'll tell you different, but I just told him and my daughter, they spoiled. 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 Hear me? Spoiled. Right into the cold. But I can't blame nobody but me. God did it. I made him feel like a king. This is his castle. Who? He make the girl feel like a queen. So what am I? Ooh, she ain't tripping. I don't drive nowhere. I don't have to get out of the car if I don't feel like it. Same way. So when he come in the house, if I got to take his clothes off for him, bathe him, whatever I got to do, feed him, whatever I got to do, I'm going to make sure he good. I'm going to make sure he ain't got no complaints. That's just what I do. Because that's how we run our house. Now, I ain't telling you to do yours, but if you say, oh, that's a little excessive, it may be, but that's what I do for him. That's how I build him. That's how I nurture him, because the weight of the world is on his shoulders. So I build him by affirming him in so many different areas of his life. I build him by making sure he has something to eat. I build him by helping him to eat healthy and make healthy choices. Why? Because my husband ain't finna die. I ain't finna lay him down on me. Bruh, you ain't drinking no Mountain Dew today. You ain't eating no candy today. Because I love him that much that I ain't trying to lose him over no food. I love him that much. I love him that much. And I respect him enough that I have to, sometimes it ain't easy when you have, because a lot of men are stubborn. And when you have a stubborn man, you have to love him beyond that. Some moment you got to pick your fights. You got to pick your fight. Look, Keisha, I'm willing to help you, baby. I'll be one of your partners in your circle. Look, Keisha, I got you. Messing me, I got you. I'm willing to hold your arms up, back up, leg up, whatever I got to do to make sure you don't grow weary in this wife thing, this wife arena. Like your circle got to be solid. And I'm telling you now, it ain't gonna be easy, because it requires you to crucify your flesh. That's what it requires. But I love you, baby, and I believe in you. I believe it's gonna work for you. They do, Tawana. They do. They do. So look, y'all. We got another couples retreat coming up. I want to encourage y'all to come. It's in April. If y'all find a boo by April, just bring them. Just bring your boo by April. Bring your boo by April. April 24th, 25th. The last week in April, whenever that is. I want to encourage y'all. We had such an awesome time at this last couples retreat. And one of the things well, that's fine too, whoever user here. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. One of the most exciting things that I experienced on the couples retreat was what he said was the trust game. And that gave me a different, because we blindfold, and he had to navigate me through. I had to trust what he was saying, that he was going to get me through to the next place. I had to trust that. Was it easy? No. But each couple that led their significant other through the maze, right? Like, their leadership skills were all different. And it was amazing to see the different leadership styles. Yeah. One of them, her husband was far back, and he said, babe, follow my voice. And she followed his voice all the way through. She followed his voice. He got so far, she was almost about to run into the wall. And you say, help them sing. We're going to help the singers, because we're going to do a singers retreat too. I got you. We got that in the works. So she was almost about to run into the wall. He told her, he literally was like, turn this way. She turned. And he navigated her through, even when she had to step over hurdles, even when she had to step over stuff, right? So it was amazing to see the leadership styles. Like, no relationship is the same, but the advice that you can take to hear other couples, like to hear how they get over situations, to hear how they deal with their brokenness, to hear how, like, you think you're the only one going through something. You think you're the only one. And then one guy, he was so iffy. He didn't know if he really wanted to participate, because he thought it was some gimmick. But at the end, he was like, I'm glad I came because this really helped me out.
Yeah.
I want to marry my 3-year boyfriend, but he jokes too much on and off. I would pray. Yeah. And you gotta be real and find out if he really yours. Like, and you gotta figure out like why he's not serious. Like, find out why you always play so much. I used to date a guy like that. And he joked so much because he was so broken. And he didn't want to really tell me how broken he was. So he would joke all the time. I just got married August 30th. Any advice? Yes, keep communicating. Never stop communicating. Have tough conversations. Don't ever go to bed angry.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the guys, whether you're in ministry or not, lay it all on the table. Do not hide anything. Put it all on the table. Put all of your flaws, all of your mistakes. If she really love you, if I'm being real, because that's one of the things that this is one of the things that women and men do. If you are a person that masturbate, if you are a person that you drink on the slide or you do stuff on the side and you trying to hide it, put it on the table. If you want, if she really loves you and if he really loves you, they're sticking there with you and help you. But don't hide nothing. Lay it all on the table. That's the best thing to do. Tim Parker, I saw you. Love you, bro. But yeah, just lay it on the table. And I know some of y'all probably saw me, getting emotional. My wife, whenever she just talks or minister or just express herself to couples or God, I just get emotional. That's just something that I just love about her. Um, because her heart for people is so, I mean, y'all get what y'all get, but I get it 24/7. And what you see, that's her. Like 24/7. She loves people. She loves God to the fullest. And she just want people to be done fair, be right, be treated right. That's all we aiming for.
Let me help you with because she asked, was masturbation bad? So masturbation is having sex with yourself. And you may say, well, I ain't sleeping with nobody else. But it's but you think about this. When you're masturbating, there is a actual spirit that you're having sex with. So that means like when you masturbate, there are thoughts that come up, right? While you're masturbating. So it could be thoughts with my ex. It could be how I had this good sex and I thought about this and this. So you're actually having sex with somebody else and they really don't even know you're having sex with them. So you think about that and you're married or you say you're in a committed relationship and you having sex. It opens the door for other sexual desires to come and it intensifies the sexuality in the relationship, right? So what it does is it magnifies and it makes you want sex even more. And you are at least 98% want to go and sleep with somebody else.
Becomes addiction.
Yeah, and it really it becomes addictive because you want to feel this. You want to have this feeling all the time. You want to feel it. Oh, you ain't satisfied me? Then I'm gonna feel this. I want this. I want this. I want. You want it. You open it up for other stuff. Now, people have their own personal opinion about it, but I'm just telling you that's literally what happens. You're having sex with a spirit, and then you're having sex with yourself, and you open yourself up to all these things, right? And you literally open yourself up to do all of these say you want sex all the time because you've opened this place up.
Like a virgin first experiencing sex.
Right. Like that's literally what it.
And after you
keep
get
going.
it the first time, you
You
want
it again
constantly. You know, that's what it is.
And you go back to that same thought that got you off. You're going to go back to that same thought. So now you still sleeping with the same man or that same woman that you ain't even with. You go back and you sleep with them again in your mind. So now that spirit that's in my mind has gone to the next place, and it begins to draw that stuff in, and you begin to sleep with that man or that woman, and they ain't even in the bed with you, but you begin to sleep with them.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, then when you finally find that person, you carrying that into your
you carry that into you carry that relationship into the next. So you'll begin to, and then your sex drive for your mate, what happens is you'll begin to put expectations on your masturbation. So you'll put that into your marriage. And you'll begin to say, well, you ain't good enough for me, or you ain't satisfied me because of a toy or whatever you use to masturbate that has caused this disillusion in your mind. And now it makes you inadequate in the bed, or your mate is inadequate when they don't do what happened in your thoughts. But yeah, that's it, Marie. Lustful desires. It's pleasing the flesh. But marriage is sex is made for marriage. That's why the Bible says that when you marry, your body is not your own. Yeah. That's so important. That's so important, Tawanda. Kudos, Tawanda. So I love y'all. I have a women's retreat coming up. I want y'all to come support a woman. If you are a vendor, inbox me so you can come sell your merch. Listen, come sell your merch. So October the 27th, 28th, 29th. Listen, come holler at your girl. We're gonna be in North Georgia. I'm excited about it. Come meet some people you've never met. Come meet some people you've never met. You will be blessed by the people that you have never met. It's in North Georgia. We'll be in North Georgia, and I'm looking for about 50 women. 50 women. A little bit above Marietta. Almost in like Toccoa. A little bit above that. But I'm excited. What's the link? I'll post it again. I posted it today, but I'll post it again. October the 27th, 28th, and 29th. We check out on the 29th. You love my accent? It's such a southern drawl. It's such a southern drawl. I just love people. I love to help people. But I posted it. Yeah, I did, Tillery. It's on my thingamajig. Now look, let me tell y'all. Come on, Tawanda. Come see your girl. I'll be there. But I'm like feeling TikTok, just getting into this thing. So I don't be knowing how to post these links. Y'all can put in here how to post it, and I'll post it so everybody can see it. But if not, I realize that you got to be friends with people to send them a message. So I'm gonna send Tawanda a friend and Tillery. I'm gonna send y'all the friends so we can talk, okay? So I can get y'all the link. But I did put it on TikTok earlier, on my page. So yes, Keisha, I try to be pleasing to the people. On camera, off camera too. You're welcome. Yeah, October 27th through the 29th. I'm excited. Yeah, come meet some people you ain't never met. Bring your merchandise. If you stay the whole weekend, I'll give you vendor's fee for free. But if you just coming Saturday, you can only vend for a couple hours. You can't vend the entire time. So if you come, the cost is $300. But if you vend just on Saturday, it's $150. Okay, but yes, I try to be honest, straightforward. I don't need me lying about it. I'll be lying to myself. But if you come and you want to participate, then it's just $300. And that covers your food for the 3 days. It covers your stay. And yeah, that's about it. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time. And we just teaching. I want other women to get the opportunity to share their story. I want women to get the opportunity to thank you, Miss Stephanie. I love you. It is. It's gonna be awesome. I want other women to get the chance, because sometimes there's so many powerful women, but they never get the opportunity to open their mouth. They never get the opportunity to even speak to other people because of how they look, because of what they went through. Because TikTok don't know my testimony, but the other part of the world do. So I don't know who on here, but I'm gonna tell you, before I got married, I used to sleep with men and women. I was on drugs. I don't look like where I've been, but I did all these things, but I did them to satisfy my flesh because I was broken. I married a man that I wanted to be my daddy, and because I had daddy issues, so I married my pain. I went through physical abuse, mental abuse. I done been on high-speed chases. I was in the gang. I was in all of it. Why? Because I did stuff that was going to satisfy me because I was broken. So I had to go through a place of releasing all of my pain so that I can walk into my full purpose, because there's some people that need to know that I ain't got to be perfect. God will call me to be perfect. I just need to come like I am. Just come like I am. So I love to love people back into their rightful place. And it is the love that begins to draw people back to their place, not the place where people want me to be, but the place that God wants me to be. So that's the place where people find, when you are authentic and transparent in your life, then people find the place with the Father. Okay? People find the place with the Father. So I love y'all. I love y'all. I see y'all in October. And we'll go from there. Y'all, so people on TikTok, so we all have a past. God loves us. Absolutely. Look at these folks. Somebody say I'm the devil and they say I'm not holy, but child, please. I like them kind of game. Cause I believe. Absolutely. You're welcome, Scorpio. I believe they show here. I believe if people ain't on here, if people ain't trying to destroy you, baby, you ain't doing nothing. Cause it's just crazy. It's crazy. And I just use these moments as such prophetic moments because I look at these moments and I laugh at them because I know who God is, and God is so big, right?
Right.
And when God is so big,
right. That's why you don't see that picture.
But the Bible said, bless those that despitefully misuse you. Right. So clearly I got to be doing something for you to be on here.
Yeah.
Doing what you doing now. I love you. Thank you. And people like you that keep the girl pushing. Yep. I appreciate you. Listen. So look, y'all, I love y'all. And I will see y'all on the other side. We'll be back here on next Wednesday, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all come back and holler at your girl, all right? I'll see y'all later. All right.